Hello, this is Moriya, and today is July the 9th. It's approximately 1:30 a.m. Um, so technically it's July the 10th. Uh, Today was my first day to ever teach in a college setting. Actually, it's my first day to ever teach. That's not true. I did teach some third graders one time as a volunteer experience. Um, that was super intimidating. And like 10 years ago. Anyway, yeah, so it's like 1:30 in the morning and I've been up since I don't know, 7:38. I had a pretty packed day. And I meant to do this video blog earlier today after my classes, but it was so hot. It was so hot and my brain was just so overwhelmed and overly stimulated. And so I came home and took a bath, like turned the lights down, threw in a bath ball bomb thing, um, turned on some relaxation music, like spa music, and then I just like relaxed in the bathtub, and it was nice because literally I I know I was very overwhelmed today, and I can only imagine how my students felt. So in case you don't know, I'm I'm co-teaching um, a class and a couple of labs for practical nurse students who are training to be licensed practical nurses, LPNs. Um, and it's an accelerated program, so everything's happening like super fast. And I thought that I was gonna just be doing a review of the learning management systems that they're going to use. So they use one called Canvas, and that's where they find like their syllabus and their assignments and their ebook. Everything is electronic for these students. Uh, they're not issued physical books. It's a very expensive program, and so some of them don't have extra money to buy books, physical books, even though they may be learners who learn better if they can feel and touch things. Um, so I am trying to, you know, teach in the same way that they are required to learn. So they're all issued an iPad at the beginning and told how to use it, and like an iPencil, that a magic pencil or whatever. And then their iPad has like a keyboard, and that's what they like. That's all their textbooks. All their textbooks are on that. So I'm also learning how to teach from an iPad, which I've never done before. So I'm learning some new things. Thankfully, one of the instructors who left, she gave myself and another one of the new instructors um, a, a little tutorial on how to make the information project from our iPads to the monitors in the room, because each room that we teach in is a nice little facility. Each room that we teach in is equipped with one or two giant TVs, as well as a giant whiteboard. And so with the Mac, it's like an Apple TV thing. And so that's really cool that they all connect. So I thought that I was going to just be doing the orientation and lab. So the schedule today was this is their PN ones, so practical nurse ones, meaning that it's their first semester as in the practical nurse program, and the class is called medication administration, and we have an hour long class in the morning, and then there's an hour break, and then the next portion of the class is lab. And so they've split the students into two groups, and each lab covers the same material. and the labs are 2 hours long. So, to my surprise, I also got to teach some of the lecture or participate in some of the lecture, right? Like I wasn't really necessarily teaching, but I was educating the students on the expectations of the class and the learning outcomes and just all those things that I don't have the brain capacity to tell you about right now. So that was actually kind of fun because it was fun to have, you know, a little lead into to teaching and not just be thrown into it. And then when we got to lab, the main instructor said, I'm going to let you go over this. And it was a big packet that I was totally expecting her to go over. And so I did not practice teaching this, like disseminating this information at all. I was like going in there to learn how to, learn how to teach it. Like I was going to watch her teach it so that I could take notes. But instead, I got a little bit of OJT, on job training, and some of it went really well. And some of it has a lot of room for improvement. And so I hope that the students, I hope they weren't too overwhelmed. You know what I mean? And then I was able to reach out because I had to do some math problems on the board, right? Because some of the feedback, on my first day at the college, I helped proctor an exam for some of the students from last semester. And for this particular exam or whatever, it wasn't really an exam. They just had to sit there for an hour because they needed the hour. And so during that time, since I'm a new instructor, I took the opportunity to ask if they had any feedback about what they liked in the program, what they didn't like in the program, what we could improve on, and got some pretty valuable feedback, especially about kind of this class that I'm co-teaching. And some of that feedback was just that, they wish that someone would have gone over the math problems, or the dosage calculation is what it's called in nursing, the dosage calculation problems, before they had to do it for their homework. And I am also a person who likes to be taught the content before I look at the content. Like I don't do it. Most times it's just too overwhelming. Like I want to hear it first. And then after I hear it, I want to listen to it, on a tape recorder in my car when I'm, driving somewhere, and just listen to it again. And then I want to do the homework or whatever. And then before the test, I want to go through and like outline the entire chapter and pick out all the important points that I think I'm going to be tested on. And then I study that. And that's my process. And, some of the feedback that I had received was that, they were given their homework, but they wish that they'd have seen an example of that before going into their, before having to do their homework, right? Because they turn in that homework for a grade. So today, when I was told that I was gonna be teaching this section of the class, some of it was the dosage cal. So I had to basically teach this thing that I haven't looked at, from a student perspective in a really long time, like years. So I literally was standing at the board and trying to figure out the best way to write the information and teach it all at the same time, for a problem that I hadn't worked out myself yet. And so there was a little bit of struggle, right? And I had to be like, okay, wait a minute. Let me just do this the way I would as a student, as a nurse. Just give me a second. You know what I mean? And I had to go through my process. Which after that I was like, oh yeah, that's why we do that. Okay, this is what works for me. And so I was able to teach that, but then you have to teach a few different methods for doing these dosage calculations, because not every student learns the same, right? And so I think they gave us like, the book gave like 3 different methods uh, to calculate your dosage calculations. When I say dosage, I mean like the medication amount that you're giving in whatever quantity. So like 400 milligrams over 5 mLs or whatever. And you want to know how many mLs are you going to give for like X amount of milligrams, right? And so they have to reduce all that stuff down to common factors. So, you know, one of them was like, the doctor ordered 1 gram of C-chlor medication by mouth, you know, 4 times a day. And it was like, and you have 250 milligrams per teaspoon available. And then it was asking how many milliliters are you going to give? And so the students had to, you know, reduce that down to from teaspoons to milliliters. And that's just not like that's not really a normal like conversion that we do every day. And so it was kind of tricky. And then you have like grams, you have milligrams, all in the same equation, teaspoons and milliliters. And I had to teach that today for the very first time ever in an environment that I had not practiced it in. And so it was a little bit of a struggle, but I enjoyed it. And now I just feel like, you know, I feel like my first class went better than my second class because I was pretty pooped. I've never taught before, and to teach for like basically, you know, like part of a class and then a full class in an environment that you have never, having not ever been a teacher before, and having to teach on the fly a concept that's so very important and also so very kind of complex. Actually, it's very complex, right? You've got fractions, like where are you going to move the decimal point? Like you can't have a 0 after a decimal point, right? Like you always have a 0 before a decimal point, but like all these concepts that are so important. And so at the end of that first lab, man, I was just like, whoa, I was kind of spent, really. So for the second class, my energy was just like way different. And then I kind of like, time management is a part of it too, right? Like you want to make sure that your time management is going well so that you can cover all the material and get through everything that you want to get through. Well, I didn't have an outline because I didn't know I was teaching that. And so, you know, there's some things that I feel like maybe we should have discussed that we didn't. And so now, right, like I've already gone in once to their learning management system, and thank you goodness that my college, where I got my associate's degree, that prepared me for my to sit for the RN, the registered nurse boards, the NCLEX. I had amazing teachers. Faulkner State Community College was just an exemplary, outstanding program. And even though we were, you know, studying to get our associate's degree, they prepared us. I feel like they prepared us to think at a higher level of education than what we were going to be awarded. They taught us to be critical care nurses, right? And they expected us to you know, have outstanding problem solving skills and be, you know, extremely prepared. And so, and it's now Coastal Community College, by the way. The year I graduated, it changed names, so that's kind of weird. But so I reached out to one of my instructors, Dr. Dukes, and asked if, like, hey, you know, apparently I'm teaching some dosage calculation right now. And where did you guys get this booklet of practice problems that you gave us? Because when I was in school, they gave us this packet, this very thick packet. I swear it had 100 or 200 questions on it. I'm not really sure, but I do know it's 37 pages long of math problems or dosage calculation problems. And I asked her, I said, hey, like, where did you guys get that packet? I'd like to get one to give to my students to practice. And she sent it to me. She sent me a copy of it. And so I'm super stoked because I'm going to do that packet again as well. And then I already uploaded it for my students so that they can practice, right? Because practice makes perfect. And so I feel like that was good, and I feel super thankful and grateful to have such amazing educators to reach out to during this new adventure that I'm going through right now. What else? So it's late. I'm tired. Like I had a million things to do, and like my brain won't turn off. It's like, I'm already going in my mind. And so I told myself I was going to put my phone down and not look at it anymore tonight. But then, and then I needed food. And so I was like Uber One or whatever. And I needed cat food too. And then that turned into, well, let me just double check that, to see what's going on with this other lab that I'm supposed to be helping out with. And kind of like, what's my part, because I don't know what my part is, and I want it to be a little bit different. I want it to be a little bit more organized than today was. And so so I started thinking about that and reaching out to the instructor, and then I was started getting all these ideas in my head, and like, okay, so I should probably prepare a script for the students so they have something to practice, like how I need to prepare them for the next lab. I need to start looking at it, and all I really want to do is go to sleep. But my brain is like, no, you need to do this. You need to find some videos, and so that they have a proper. I need to look on ATI and pull videos showing the 3 different methods to take a bunch of information, extract the super important numbers, and what is it called? I can't remember what they're called. Like, oh, I'm sounding really dumb right now. But so numbers, and then they're, what is it called? Like milligrams, milliliters, whatever. So please pardon me. I'm tired and my brain is overstimulated for the day. So anyway, and then I was like, oh, and I would like to have my kitchen super clean. So I cleaned the kitchen while I was like rehearsing scripts in my brain. And I started not to really like worry about doing the video, right? The video journal. But I think it's really important to be able to reflect on this time in my life when I'm starting something new. And, it's going to be neat to like revisit these someday if I ever do if I ever do revisit them. Let me get my LaCroix. Well, my fake LaCroix. Just like revisit them and see, like what I've learned and, how I've progressed and things like that. Like, what did I change? What do I think I could have changed? And I'm thinking like, oh, do I need to, email the students? Like, should I email the students, a note that says, all right, guys, just to recap the day, these were the important, here's the bullet points for what is important. These are the things you need to focus on. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to overwhelm them even more with like more information. So I don't know. I'm going to talk to the lead instructor probably tomorrow and just hopefully get some guidance on the, how we're going to move forward. So yeah, so I am glad I did the video, even though I like know that it's late, my brain is tired, and my mouth is tired from speaking. Like, literally, I lectured for a solid 4 hours today, plus that first hour. And wow, teachers, like, I really respect you because it's exhausting. It really is exhausting. Um, yeah. So, anyway, hi, Molly. What doing? You coming up? What doing? Molly Cat wants to come up. Hi, you coming up? Say hi. Here. Let's see if we can. Oh, we can't see you. Hey, Molly, what doing? What doing, huh? All right. I think that's gonna be it for me tonight. Wish me luck. Wish my students luck. I really hope that we're able to prepare them for success and not overwhelm them. So, all right. Oh, here comes Molly. Come on, let's go. Let's go. She got her hair cut, and she's just like such a different cat. Like, she was like jumping up and trying to play, and oh, you got it, yeah, good girl. Okay, come on, I got you, you did good. Anyway, oh, and something else that I'm really excited about too. Let me talk about this really fast. Let me scoot over from my big kitty. Come on. All right, so something else that I was thinking about when I was like washing dishes was, I talked about in class how to me it was super important to, be as professional as we can. And I told them, that throughout their career, they're going to have hard conversations. And that something that we are hoping to do while they're in our class is to help them, be better prepared to have difficult conversations, right? About high, what's the word? High risk, or I don't even know if it's high risk. It's high something. I can't remember. It's from that book, Crucial Conversations. Like, they're going to have conversations about very important high risk. I think it's high risk things, right? Like, they're going to have to advocate for their patient. They're going to have to question, other professionals on their like reasoning for ordering certain things. And it's interesting because in nursing school, I remember thinking, wow, they expect us to know like a lot of the same things as doctors have to know, but we're not doctors, and they don't really listen to us all the time, right? And so they expect us to think like a doctor, but not, be a doctor. And so in order to do that, you have to be a very good communicator, right? Because if you're like thinking that far in advance and you're evaluating all those lab values and like medications, mechanism of action, and you're questioning like, well, why are they taking this? Just all kinds of situations. So we want to prepare them to have those conversations. And also, I explained or, talked to them just about how important it was to not gossip about people behind their back, and in a group setting, and how toxic it can be. And I told them that, they may find themselves in a conversation where people are being very negative, or they're talking about other people who aren't there. And, they need to learn how to help redirect those conversations, and bring it back to a professional level. And it's not easy because most of the practice that we get is on the job training, right? And it's in the moment. And it's like you get one chance, right? Usually you get like one chance, and it's not always going to be great. And so really want to practice that with these students. Like, I want to equip them with the vocabulary and the skills to, you know, ask hard questions, stand up for their patients, stand up for themselves, you know. I wanted them to know, you know, their rights. Um, and if, you know, because nurses, doctors, like, just because they're nurses and doctors doesn't mean that they don't talk ugly about other, you know, about patients or other people in your presence. And um, a good life skill is to learn how to deflect that. Um, and so as I say that, you know, I'm like thinking to myself, like, how can we help prepare them? And then also like to accept feedback, right? Like, and give feedback, you know what I mean? And feel comfortable both giving and receiving feedback, right? Because, and I told them too, it's important. And so like if you ever see me, you know, or another instructor saying something ugly about someone else, then it is within your right, it is 100% within your right to address it, right? If you don't feel comfortable addressing it, then come to one of us and let us help direct you to resources that can help you identify a way that works best for you um, to address that. And then also, I just kind of thought about it while I was washing dishes. I was just thinking, um, even as professors, and I think I told them this, but you know, oh, I was gonna bring it back to uh, we want to prepare you to speak to doctors and be able to interject, you know, a question when you need a clarification. Uh, and so I would like for that. It needs to start with us, right? Like they need to get comfortable um, finding the right way and the right time in a conversation, in a moment to interject, you know, a question or make a statement or whatever. And so, and they need to practice giving feedback that's hard and practice receiving feedback that's hard. And so, hopefully, we'll be able to do that. I think we can work it in. I just don't know how yet. I mean, it's medication administration, so hopefully there's some like videos or something out there that I can check out. But yeah, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. Anyway, future Moriya will thank me for this today. All right, that's it. I'm out. Have a good night. Stay tuned for Lab 2, which is Thursday. Different class. It's Med Surge. So I get to go and look at ATI. It's one of the learning management softwares, and take a look at Med Surge. Yeah, and ATI and see what they have to learn or what they have to do and how I can somehow incorporate that into medication administration as well, right? Because the more places you get the information, the more places you get the same information, the more it's gonna stay in your mind. So, okay, feel free to send tips, tricks, advice, uh, websites that you like to learn from that are based on evidence-based research for nursing or teaching. I have a ton of resources I haven't been able to access yet, so just because I've been too busy. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to bed now. Good night. Ciao. Go do hard things safely. Change the world. Bye.